We really do need to talk about Oscar Bobb, don't we? I know it's 1:30 in the morning as I'm recording this, but some things cannot wait, and Oscar Bobb hype is one of those things. Welcome back to another match reaction, the second of this early season, pre-season form. That doesn't even make any sense. Second video of this season in match reaction form. I'm tired, can you tell? Manchester City have just lost again, unfortunately, over in the States. This time 3-2 to AC Milan. But the name on everyone's tongues is Oscar Bobb, and wow, what a superstar we could have on our hands here. Of course, we'll talk about the game and all that kind of stuff. Ultimately, we will not remember this game of football, but I think what we will remember this game of football for is maybe the signs, the burgeoning signs of a future superstar grabbing this team by the scruff of his neck and saying, I am here to stay. He was very, very good. Absolutely phenomenally good at times, Oscar Bobb. I have not been that excited by a youth player probably since Phil Foden, if I'm being totally honest. His ceiling, his potential could even potentially exceed that. It's honestly superlative stuff. Absolutely ridiculous. Such a wonderful display of football for Oscar Bobb at times. I felt like I was watching a hybrid. Now, I'm getting carried away, and I don't care. Look, if I can't get carried away at 1:30 in the morning on a Sunday when my family's asleep, and I've been up for an awful long time, when can I get carried away? So don't even deny me it, man. Don't deny me it. But it felt like watching a combination of Leroy Sané with a bit of Eden Hazard, a bit of David Silva. And then, it was just ridiculous. A stupid combination of footballers there. A little bit of Iniesta with his footwork. It was so fun to watch. And Oscar Bobb is absolutely the name on everyone's lips right now. This footballer has the world in the palm of his hands if he wants to go and take it. And watching Guardiola react to that was just so exciting. I'll get to Oscar Bobb in a little bit more detail. I'll give you a quick overview of the game. Once again, it was a friendly. Once again, City looked a little bit all over the place, sadly. It was not a cohesive performance. It's what you expect in a friendly. I don't take friendlies seriously. I just, as I said on City's show last night, I see them as a chance to enjoy a bit of football, see some young players, and enjoy essentially a little bit of chaos, because you don't see chaos in football very often. This is people attacking, people dribbling, and people running at defenders and enjoying themselves. It's what people say is lost from football. Just vibes, man. Go out and enjoy it and watch youth players try and make a name for themselves. And you get teams like this here where you've got Edison with Mahamadou Susaho, an 18 or 19-year-old defensive midfielder, playing right back alongside Jamai Simpson-Poussey, a guy most people never heard of, alongside Callum Doyle and Rico Lewis at left back. Then you got Maximo Perroni, Nico O'Reilly playing quite deep as a young 18-year-old attacking midfielder, playing almost as a 6 at times. McAtee alongside him, Oscar Bobb on the right, then Grealish and Haaland. And we're seeing that team with all the substitutes that came on as well, and a team that ends like this at the end. Where's it gone? There you go. Ends like that with Carson in goal as captain, Wilson Esbrand, Callum Doyle and Vardiol, then Jadon Katonga with a double pivot of Jacob Wright and Calvin Phillips, Rico Lewis playing alongside Oscar Bobb up front, Amar Fatah, a trialist I'd never heard of, then Michael Hamilton. I don't get how you could not enjoy this, even if it wasn't perfect. It was far from perfect. It was a bit shit, but a bit good, then a bit shit, then a bit good, then a bit shit. You still can enjoy it, in my humble opinion. I don't know. I sort of love it. It's not a game to judge clinically. It's not a game to... Where's it gone? There's the lineup. It's not a game to take too seriously. But it's a game to just enjoy for what it is. And when I see performances like Oscar Bobb, this is what I take from it. You know, we talk about tactics during the season. We don't talk about tactics in preseason. There's pretty much no point. You know, there really is. There's no real kind of structure or cohesion to it. McAtee sort of confirmed that. He said that Guardiola doesn't really get tactical instructions. He tells the players to go out and sort of enjoy themselves in these games, and rightfully so. If we're being honest, you know, there's no real structure to these games. There's too many changes. There's too many new players. There's too much going against any form of structure to take too seriously. So I think what you've got to do is just enjoy it for what it is. And I do. I want to talk about Oscar Bobb now. I'll get on to the other players in a minute, but now I've sort of given my overall verdict of what the game sort of is, just sort of irrelevant, sort of fun nonsense. We need to talk about Oscar Bobb, who was fantastic in the previous game. Even though City lost that game to Celtic, Oscar Bobb gave a masterclass with a goal and 2 assists. But I feel like he was even better in this, even if he didn't have the same return. Of course, he got an assist with a lovely, lovely darting dribble where he just rinsed the left back and perfectly played it back to Haaland, his compatriot, yet again, repeating that same first game structure. Got another assist, but it was the way he was popping up everywhere. And there was one dribble that reminded me of Lionel Messi. It was ridiculous. There was one where he got the ball in the inside left channel, drifting over to that side, turning away from a defender like Hazard, got tripped, but got up like Phil Foden, kept on running, played a beautiful 1-2 with Maximo Perrone, and unfortunately put it past the post. But that incredible burst of pace. Look, you see it every now and then. When you've been watching football for a while, I'm very lucky to have watched Oscar Bobb. Let me find out when I first tweeted about Oscar Bobb. I need to know. I can't remember the exact date. But I've been lucky to watch Oscar Bobb since he joined Manchester City. I've seen him for an awful long time. I'm going to find the first tweet. I'm just scrolling through my phone here. The first time I tweeted about Oscar Bobb was, keep going, Stephen, I'm scrolling, was an awful long time ago. He was 16 years old. He just joined Manchester City. It was from Valerenga, I think, wasn't it? There we go. It was, you won't be able to see this, I don't think, but it was, you won't be able to see that, but it was August in 2019. I said Oscar Bobb is on for the 18th. And I said he's just scored a stunner a week or so later, barely a touch, rounded the keeper. That was 2019, so he would have been 16 then. So that was 5 years ago. So I was lucky to see him then, and I've watched his development. And I remember when I said as well that I felt he deserved first team more than Cakey, and people had to go at me for that. I was like, no, I feel like he actually deserves it more because I thought he was a really exciting player. And you saw him obviously slowly break into the team. And you saw last season he had those big moments. The big moment which in my opinion changed the course of the season, the Newcastle goal. A phenomenal last minute winner. A goal of the highest technical ability. Like the kind of goal that Messi would be happy with. I'm not even kidding. Like that touch to go past the defender, then touch go past the keeper. It's genius stuff from a youngster. It really is that good. It's the kind of goal that you could dine out on for an awful long time. If Messi scored it, people talk about it as one of the goals of the season. Oscar Bobb scores it, and we remember it beautifully, but most people sort of gloss over it a little bit because he's a kid, you know. You put it down as a brilliant moment for a young player, but can he do it again? And it's a fair question. And last season he didn't get a lot of football, but you could see his confidence growing within the squad. But what I love about pre-season is sort of when you start again, and you start again with all the information you've learned from the previous year or two, and it's sort of like a muscle memory thing kicks in. Like the simplest comparison I can make is playing guitar, but there'll be something similar for you when you try and learn something new. I often found, and it's a thing, it's called muscle memory. Like, I try and learn a song on guitar, and I'll be there playing it for ages. I could never get it. I could never quite nail that solo or whatever. And the next day, when I'd gone away from it or whatever, you pick up the guitar. For whatever reason, you just play it first time. It's like everything that you've just learned, it's sort of seeped into your brain and it's stuck in there, and like it connects. The synapses connect, the memory connects or whatever, and it just comes easy. And that's called muscle memory. You know what, you're familiar with that. And the way I would, what I'm trying to get at here is that I feel like Oscar Bobb has learned all the lessons from Guardiola last season, and all of a sudden everything he's learned now it just comes natural to him, and you've got that muscle memories kicked in. But more than that, you've got the confidence and the belief. When you're a young player, I think Phil Foden was the ultimate teacher's pet. I remember Phil Foden coming into the team and keeping it very simple, playing the passes, the occasional dribble, but keeping it simple. Oscar Bobb was very similar. But eventually, once you've done that, you don't get scared of getting the ball anymore and expressing yourself because you feel like you belong. Oscar Bobb now, and it's not a coincidence that he's doing it alongside academy players, is that playing like a senior player. And obviously, I reckon there's a chance that if this was a full team in the preseason, we might not have seen this from Oscar Bobb simply because he might have still felt a little bit like, the young lad. I mean, if you're surrounded by Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri, he does ground you a little bit. But if all of a sudden you go out there and you're the face of the kit launch. You're there with Haaland and Grealish as a superstar. You're going to be there as the first team player. You feel confident. You feel like you belong. And you notice that Nico O'Reilly and, Susaho and these lads, they're looking up to you. They want to be you, and that actually gives you the confidence. So Guardiola treats you as a first team player. The public treat you as a first team player. You're a superstar in New York Times Square or whatever. There's a block party happens outside the Puma store. Look, not Times Square, but you know what I'm saying. So I feel like he's got the muscle memory, he's got the confidence, he's got the self-belief, and he's got the experience now. So this all leads to performances like that where he's not scared to make a mistake. He knows he can keep the ball, he's stronger, quicker, more mature, and you get a performance like that, and it's just pre-season. It is just pre-season. But pre-season can still show you the confidence of a player and where they are right now. And seeing Guardiola's reaction, look, Pep is first and foremost, before anything, he's a football man, He's a football fan. We all start as football fans, and that is the beauty of football. It doesn't matter how good you get at football. We all start as football fans first. And there was a childlike glee to Guardiola's face watching Oscar Bobb go on those dribbles, get the ball and run past people and beat people. And it doesn't matter who you are. If you can make someone feel like a kid again and enjoy football, you're going to go far. And especially when you've got an end product and you've got the intelligence. So if you can make Guardiola grin and clap, and look, we've seen Guardiola do that a few times. We saw he did it with Messi and Iniesta and all this kind of stuff. And look, I love this. We've got the most wonderful super chat here. Anthony Lafleur, thank you so much for the super chat. I'll get to that in a minute. But when you can make Guardiola do that, you can make Guardiola put his head in his hands and enjoy his football and laugh, you've got a chance, because Guardiola has seen the best. He's been around. He's arguably the greatest manager of all time in this sport. You could argue that quite comfortably. He's managed some of the best of all time, arguably. Definitely some of the best in their positions. And yet he was enjoying that performance. If you can make him do that, you've got a chance, And if you can make people like Anthony here, Anthony Lafleur, thank you so much, mate, with the super chat. An AC Milan fan, come on and comment this. As an AC Milan fan, you guys have a brilliant young talent in Oscar Bobb for the future to continue winning your legacy in England. If you can make an AC Milan come to a Manchester City fan channel and leave this comment, thank you so much, Anthony. Absolutely appreciate you, mate. You're a superstar. Then you've got a little bit of talent, mate. You've got an awful lot of talent. And it's just pre-season, yes, but sometimes you can just feel something. There's an energy, there's a vibrancy, there's an electricity to Oscar Bobb right now that is almost palpable. It's 1:30 in the morning, 1:45 actually, and I'm sat here full of life, full of vim and vigour because of Oscar Bobb and that performance. And I don't know, lightning in a bottle, he captured it, this young lad. And the most exciting thing about it is I don't even know his position. Maybe he is a number 10, maybe he's a left winger, maybe he's a right winger, maybe he's a false 9, maybe, just maybe, he's a footballer, a proper footballer. And when you can dribble past people, you can play a pass, you can score a goal, you can be unstoppable. And Oscar Bobb right now looks unstoppable. And Savinho might be watching that thinking, have I got a chance? Jack Grealish might be watching that thinking, have I got a chance? Doku, the lot of him, that is talent. You can't keep talent like that down, and Guardiola does not want to keep talent like that down. I'm really excited for Oscar Bobb, a special young footballer. I've got an awful lot of time for him, and I can't wait to see what he does from here. Like, he should keep up. He'll start the Community Shield, and given the delayed comebacks, given all that kind of stuff, given the fact that the players come back from the Copa America and the Euros, do not be surprised if Oscar Bobb is starting a few games early on in the season. And do not be surprised if he keeps that role, because right now, I want to see Oscar Bobb on the right wing and I want to see him stay there, because that is talented. And don't be surprised if he ends up this genius number 10 either. Elsewhere, look, I'm looking at the lineup right now. Look, given the week that Ederson's just had and the alleged rumours that, he was upset allegedly about people. He denied it, but the rumours were that apparently he didn't like people saying Ortega would have saved that, and it was really awkward in a funny, dark humour sense of way that I watched all those goals and thought, maybe Stefan, maybe he might have saved them. He had a stinker. Look, they were right at him from 2 yards, but I feel like he could have done better, Ederson. Look, I'm not going to judge him. It's pre-season, and it's one of those days where everything goes wrong, maybe. It was funny. I'm sorry, it is funny. I've got a very dark sense of humour. It's in Gallo's humour. Look, if you can't laugh at the situation where he comes out and he gets frustrated apparently about this, then drops a bit of a stinker where you think, "I'll take a might have saved all them," and get subbed off for Scott Carson. Look, it's funny. Look, he'll be fine. He's a world class keeper. He'll be absolutely fine. But he had a bad day today, unfortunately. He should have done better with those goals. I'll go through the rest of the players here. Let me bring up the team on screen. Susaho, I felt really sorry for him. He's like a sort of Romeo Lavia types sort of DM, but he got put at right back. He's not a right back. I felt so sorry for the young lad, you know. He struggled an awful lot. The cross to the back post, over his head, you know. He didn't have a good time. He's a good player, though. And likewise, Jamai Simpson-Pusey, I think he struggled a little bit with the pace of the game. It was tough for him as a young lad. And once again, with the chaos around him and chaos ahead of him, it's very hard. I actually felt like Callum Doyle played like a senior player. Strong, powerful. It was chaotic around him. An absolute mess. But I think Callum did as well as he could do given the circumstances. You know, I actually thought he had a good game. You can see that he's had 3 years now of senior experience at good clubs at Sunderland, you know. What was the other one? Sunderland, Leicester. I've forgotten one because I'm tired. Someone will tell me in the chat. I thought he had a really... Who's the other one? Why have I forgotten? I'm so tired. But either way, you can tell he's used to senior football now. I actually think really it's sort of a shame that we've got so many good centre-backs, because I would not be upset if Callum Doyle was playing a game, you know, a mid-table. You know, he was playing alongside Ruben Diaz with the first team around him. Coventry, that was it. Yeah, Coventry. Thank you very much, Andrew. I wouldn't be upset if he was playing. I think he's a really good talent. Only very young still, 2021. Allegedly going on loan to Norwich, but I think he's a Premier League level player. Definitely, with a little bit of luck, you know. So talented, strong. I think he's a good player, Callum Doyle. He's going to go to the top. I think he's going to be a Premier League player. Hopefully one day, you know, I don't know if he'll reach City's level, but I wouldn't be surprised. He's technically strong. He's good. He'll be an England international one day, I'm almost certain. So, yeah, I liked him. I thought Rico defensively was pretty poor, Rashid, in the chat there. But going forward, look, he's a really smart footballer. I just wish he was a little bit taller. He's very short, even by his short play standards, and I just sometimes wish he had the physicality a little bit more. But he's such a smart footballer, vibrant, bright, some good skill today, good turn of pace. He's sort of playing at false nine at one point. He's definitely going to be further up, but I do sometimes wonder, you know, if he's gonna make that step. But he's a really smart footballer. But yeah, Maximo Peroni as well. The best moment of his game when he played the 1-2 with Oscar Bobb. It was a pretty quiet half for him, unfortunately. And he wasn't bad, but he was reasonably quiet. But most of the stuff came through Oscar Bobb in that first half. I thought Nico O'Reilly had a really interesting game. Nico O'Reilly is a talent. Some lovely touches from Nico O'Reilly. Once again, not everything came off, but you can see the talent is there. He's got it. He's got an awful lot of talent. He definitely played deeper than I expected him to. Often he was getting the ball from the centre-backs, playing it really deep. And he's essentially attacking midfield, if not a false nine. So, yeah, he's a really smart player. We had Nico and Rico often in midfield. And I liked it, man. I thought O'Reilly had a really good game. You can see his talent there. I think James was fine in that first half. Then second half, James McAtee, of course, played as a sort of false nine. Really nice goal. Good header from Michael Hamilton's cross. I never get a great game, James. But look, give him time. You know, give him time to adapt to this squad. Hopefully he stays around. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Oscar Bobb, I've already waxed lyrical about him. What more do you want me to say? Jack Grealish, I've reasonably quiet. He played a little bit more central than I expected him to do in the second half. Did all right, worked back. Not a great game. Fine. Erling Haaland was Erling Haaland. He scored his tapping. He did it really well, you know. What more can I say? Looking at who else got on the pitch. Carson, you know, kept a clean sheet when he came on. Legend. Oh, Calvin Phillips, mate. Now, during my watch-along, I compared Calvin Phillips to the guy who smokes too much or drinks too much at a party, and I said smokes too much on purpose because he looks like a guy who smoked too much, then watches smokes too much, you know what I mean, and then watches a documentary on quantum physics, and he sits like that, and his mind is gone. And I think Calvin Phillips, he's a better footballer than the football we've got now. He was at some point. But I think the exposure to Pep Guardiola's tactics and the level at Manchester City, his head has gone. It's blown his mind. Unfortunately, he cannot keep up. He's lost all confidence and he's just whited out. Calvin Phillips is absolutely just gone. Oops, sorry. That's what happened to Calvin Phillips right there. That must have been quite loud. Apologies to everyone. He's just sat there, like his confidence is gone. His little mind, I feel so sorry for him, man. His confidence is totally gone. He's second guessing himself. He's just ball watching. He's just gone, absolutely gone, man. He's spaced out. He's absolutely. He looks like he just can't keep up with Manchester City, and unfortunately, his confidence is gone. He doesn't know what he's doing, and I feel so sorry for him. And I'm sat here right now and going, who's going to sign him, man? He's going to have a loan. He'll probably do badly. The injuries didn't help him at all. I think his confidence, I think Pep's sort of tough on him. It hasn't worked for him. I can see him going on loans, it not working, leaving on a free transfer, and eventually going back to Leeds, but not playing much, and retiring early. I think he'll retire at 32, 33 in a few years of injuries. I just feel he's lost so much, and so much of football is in your head, and you see players sometimes just gradually decline, then just dip massively, and that's where Calvin's at right now. And it's not even funny anymore. I feel sorry for him. I really do. He's lost it. And it can happen. It can happen to a footballer. He won't be the first and won't be the last. Sadly, Kovacic didn't get on. Guardiola came on, played at centre-back for a little bit, right centre-back, and it was good to see him back. Not much to say. Likewise, not much to say about Jacob Wright and Katongo. They came on, had a little bit of cameo. We saw the trialist, Amar Fatah. Let me try and find out the story of him again. A Swedish footballer. He was at... let's have a look. He was at... Troyes in France. He went on loan to, was it Lommel? Yeah, so Troyes signed him from AIK for 5 million. He went on loan to Lommel. He's come back. I don't know how his loan at Lommel went. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you that, unfortunately. But either way, he looked all right, if fair to him. He's got an awful lot of pace, an awful lot of energy. Thank you so much, man, by the way. Look at that. Look at that super chat. Thank you so much, Della Orr. Norwegian Blues representing, saying appreciating the content and love for our Norwegian boys, mate. I'm honestly honoured to watch them. Thank you so much for the massive donation there, mate. It's really, really appreciated, and it made me feel better about staying up till 2 a.m, mate. Thank you so much. Big round of applause, by the way, to Della Orr. I mean, awe of your Norwegian commitment there, mate. Round of applause to Della Orr for the super chat, because that was a big one. It was a big one, yeah, massively. Thank you so much, mate. Big dub. But yeah, your Norwegian boys, look, you've got some special footballers, haven't you? You're doing all right in Norway, and hopefully, I know Erling Haaland was asked yesterday in the press conference what it feels like. Hopefully Norway will be there soon. You've got Oscar Bobb and Odegaard and Haaland and others. You might be there, man. You might be there soon. I think you might make the next Euros. But thank you so much. Yeah, superstar. Big love to you, my friend. Absolutely. Where was I at? Yeah, it was like 40 quid super chat. Thank you so much. I'm skint, so I really appreciate that. Where was I at? I was talking about Amar Fatah, yeah. He looked lively, this young trialist, you know. Obviously, this is putting him in the shop window level stuff. He's not going to sign for Man City. He'll sign for the City Football Group. He's already at the City Football Group, and he'll go on loan again. But I like the look of him, man. He's got a lot of pace, electric, bit of skill. Look, he'll get a loan somewhere, surely. Bit of power, a big lad, you know. Strong, good pace. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I don't think he'll get a Girona loan, mate, Liam, unfortunately. Probably not quite that level. But hopefully he gets a loan somewhere, maybe a championship side or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But he's got a little bit of magic about him, you know. Not everything he tried came up, but he's brave. Chelsea, £40 million right to buy. Yeah, we'll see. I was really encouraged by him, though. I thought he had a really nice little cameo, and fingers crossed he can make a bit of a name for himself. Back at the team as well, who else was the... Hamilton came on again, and I felt it was like I was watching Broadway. You know, some of those skills. Hamilton, another lovely bit of skill. Beat the defenders, dipped it across the back post for James McAtee. Look, Hamilton's a really good player, man. He's not going to make it at Manchester City. I don't think he will, sadly, but he's clearly a good winger. like clearly a good winger. Like absolutely would love to see him get a loan somewhere, maybe a championship side. I don't know, but he's got a lot of skill, a lot of bravery, a lot of pace. Yeah, a really good player. Give him a go. I think Hamilton won't stay around. I know we want to see him, but I don't. I think he's doing really well in these little sort of friendlies and whatever in the Club World Cup, but I don't think he's quite Man City level. I think like it's like a Dozy did really well, and Dozy's done all right in the Championship, for Southampton, but he's not, Premier League ready yet. I think Hamilton will probably settle around there. Maybe higher level, but he needs a loan. Yeah, a loan would be great for him. Brentford, that's not a bad shout. But he looks a brave player. A lot of skill, a lot of work rate, and I like it. And finally, Wilson Esbrand, who had a better time than the previous game. He's played quite far up the pitch. Again, one nice little dribble. But overall, I enjoyed that. We lost again. Do not get too downbeat about the result. It doesn't matter. I guarantee you, it'll be absolutely no effect on the first team. All those players are away on holiday. They don't give a shit about this result in a nice way. They don't care about the effect of morale because there's no effect on morale because they're not there. They're on holiday on the beach drinking a fucking tequila sunrise or whatever. They're not bothered. They're absolutely having a wonderful time. Yeah, so they're not bothered. Their confidence won't be affected. City's confidence won't be affected. These are kids learning the ropes, having a great time, playing for Manchester City Football Club in New York at the Yankees Stadium. It's fine. It's fine. I'm enjoying Oscar Bobb. I'm enjoying you guys watching these videos. Thank you so much. Give the video a like if you don't mind. Hope you're enjoying the content. I'm enjoying making content at the moment. I don't know. I feel I'm in a bit of a role. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. I need 74 more subscribers. If anyone's watching that right now hasn't subscribed, please subscribe. I need 74 more to get to 70,000 subscribers. I'd love to get there. Love you all loads. In a bit. Good night, good morning, wherever you are. See you tomorrow for another video. Bye-bye.